Thank you so much for joining us here tonight. Improvised Postmortem, New York Comic-Con edition. So, what is this show? You're asking yourself. Well, we're going to go on a journey, and I'm going to have you imagine that because it's New York Comic-Con and comic book creators from all across the world have come to New York, and I've invited them tonight to come to talk about their projects, their books. Now, these books will have existed at some point in some world, and they're going to talk about what went right with it and what went wrong with it, which is basically what the postmortem is. They'll have like about 5 minutes or so, and I'll go through all of them, and then they'll all come out and talk about the books they made together. Now, of course, we know that these are improvisers and stand-ups and comedian friends of mine doing this, and we know that every comic title you see on the screen, I made up. In the lightning round, people who follow me on Twitter suggested weird names for the lightning round. And so all of it's made up, and none of these books are real. But by the end of the show, there'll be at least one that you're like, I kind of wish that existed. Because someone's going to talk about a comic book, and you're like, I can't read that. That sucks. It's going to be a good time. Now, to kick things off, so you get a sense of what the show's going to be, I'm going to do an example. Now, this will be the only time that I chat with you, the audience. If someone could please give me a fictional comic book title.
Superman.
Superman. All right, so I wrote to Superman, which I was very happy to get the license from DC to do what started as just a one-off, but quickly became a two-off. That's right, they let me write a second one. It went really well at first. I think that people were really surprised that I could write something about Superman, having never read a comic book before. I only knew the name, it was Superman. So I kind of just thought like, well, I mean, I bet he's a really small guy, and I bet that he gets into a lot of mischief. And so I wrote like a fun book that was like really silly and zany. And you know, at first reception was mixed. Real fans of Superman were like, this seems like you don't know anything about the source material, which was true. But people who don't read comic books, for some reason, loved it. We sold it mostly at supermarkets, and we found that our demographic of potheads and single moms really identified with the book. They thought it was really funny. So they let me make a second one. Now, as many people that keep up with the tabloids know, I did suffer a horrible brain aneurysm. So I don't remember what I wrote in the first book. So the second book was very violent. It was very detailed. I had a lot of death in it. I killed, apparently, a bunch of beloved characters, and I had no idea. I was just picking names at random that happened to be names from Superman. So it didn't do so well. Apparently the single moms and potheads didn't find it funny, and then the traditional comic fans loved it, but as you know, traditional comic fans don't buy comic books, so it didn't sell. So that's about it for that book. If ever offered a comic book again, I would certainly make one, and I might even check out Wikipedia about it. So that's just a little bit of an example for you all. I'm going to move over here to this area. I'll be on stage hanging out. I might ask some follow-up questions of our panels. So there'll be solo performers, there'll be duos, and from this point forward, all you need to do is sit back, relax, enjoy, and so let's bring out our first, this is going to be a duo here. Please welcome to the stage, Ollie Gordon and Adrian Frimpong. Yes, hello. Adrian, Allie, thank you so much for joining us tonight. Of course, you adjust the mics however you need to.
Thank you so much. Good to be back here.
So I would love to have you chat with the audience about your comic title, The Incredible Dan.
Oh. The Incredible Dan.
You know how hard it is to find colorists these days?
Colorists? Yeah. Well, we found a good one, and his name was Dan, and we were very taken by him. Sort of thought he was a handsome young gentleman.
He's the finest man. We were in New Orleans in 2002. We were there for a friend's bachelorette party.
That's exactly right. It went badly.
Bad.
There was disaster. There were a few arrests. me among them.
She kept asking for her lactate pills.
You can't take Lactate the day before you're married.
Come on.
That's for married life.
That's
Anyway, we're there, and we're in New Orleans, and we come across this guy named Dan, and we say, what do you do for a living? And he says, I'm a colorist. And we say, that's incredible. We just got the rights to the newest Incredible Hulk, and we're looking for a colorist. So we spend the evening with Dan, and we take him back to our pied-à-terre, and he came along. He came along. And he came along a lot that evening, if you understand.
If you understand, we all got together and we had sex several times.
That is, okay, I'll speak in metaphor, and Adrian will tell you exactly what I'm saying. So we wake up the next morning, we're all wrapped up cozy in our blankets, and we're like, Dan, you are incredible. And then Adrian and I look at each other, and we both say at the same time, You're incredible, Dan! And,
we said that.
We said it at the same time.
Ah, yes.
Dan, by the way, is a mute. So he didn't say anything in this story.
Yeah, it's all context clues.
But the way that he looked in his eyes, it was like...
he looked into his own eyes right then and there. He had a mirror. Always looking in the mirror. He was always looking in the mirror.
He was looking in the mirror a lot. So we take Dan back to DC, who obviously owns the rights to the Incredible Hulk. Yes. And I'm saying this confidently because I know that's true.
Yes.
And great. So we're like, get rid of it. We're starting all over. It's called The Incredible Dan. To which they said, don't you dare.
Please don't. That's legal. Also, this is Marvel. And it didn't really matter whether it was with DC or Marvel.
Because we made it on our own. It was totally independent.
So we actually put up our first issues. We brokered a deal with a bunch of Equinox gyms. People like to bulk up at those gyms, and
That's
so we just
exactly
dropped
right.
all those Incredible Dans.
Some people like to look at impressive men. Some people just like to towel off with something for free. Anyway, they all flew off the rack.
They were flying off the rack. The Incredible Dans were flying off. We made an easy, cool $12,000 the first month.
Absolutely.
And then we were in the red the rest of the 9 months.
Yep, that's exactly right. We bought another pied-à-terre in St. Louis. That was 11,000 of the 12 grand.
Yes.
And invited Dan to live in. He's very, very quiet.
He's so quiet.
He prefers the basement.
He likes dark. He likes darkness.
He likes darkness.
He likes cool, dank darkness. You know what? He also plays piano, which is bizarre because even though he's a mute, he can still hear. Don't you forget that. Okay?
That's right. Well, that is the definition of mute. There is nothing about hearing in the definition of mute.
I mean, some people here are probably thinking this is a Helen Keller situation. It's not.
It's not. But he's still incredible. She was incredible too. She did other things besides what he did. So he plays piano in the basement. He's an incredible man. He wears a mask over half of his face.
How did he do that, Allie? A mask over half the face?
He's incredible. You can't ask.
And these hooks, okay?
So we're looking for more money to do a second issue of The Incredible Dan, and we're not going to beg, but we will take you back to our pied-à-terre, either the one in St. Louis.
Some of you are wondering, myself included, what a pied-à-terre is, and it's very, very similar to you guys have where are you guys from? Where are you guys from?
Where are you guys from? Help Adrian, he needs it.
New York.
New York. So from New York.
New York?
That'll help you answer your question
cool.
about a pied-à-terre is.
Okay, so you guys are from New York, you guys got plenty of pied-à-terres.
Yeah. So you all know. And we can all agree that everyone in this audience knows what a pied-à-terre is.
All right. Well, thank you girls so much. I really appreciate it. Thank you. We all learned a lot more about Dan. So.
Thank you so much. And once again, just if anybody has any money they want to drop in a bucket on the way out,
Please,
we need to feed our beautiful.
Don't go to Eastman.
We need to feed our beautiful Dan. He lives in the basement and he needs help.
Adrian and Allie, everybody, give it up for We'll see them later tonight for the lightning round. Thank you so much. Now, please keep that applause going for Kevin Eastman. For those that don't know, Kevin made his mark with the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles comic book.
That's correct.
Which later obviously became the Smash International hit cartoon and movies and video games.
Pat, I'd just like to clarify for people. I'm not just Kevin Eastman. I've been told it's the year 2017 currently.
This is 2017.
Right. I just stepped through some sort of portal. I came straight from 1991. I'm 1991's Kevin Eastman. I'm riding extremely high off of the success of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2: Secret of the Ooze. I'm having a great year.
Yeah, that's a great movie.
Yeah, no, it's a terrific movie.
Well,
we got Vanilla Ice in it for some reason.
1991, Kevin Eastman. We would love to hear about your latest project.
All right, what do we got?
Sexy
Mummies. Sexy Mummies. Can I tell you right now, Pat, I'm still... This is a big personal disappointment for me that this failed so hard.
Oh, yeah.
You know, here's me. I'm 1991 Kevin Eastman. I'm laying on a giant pile of money, which is my bed. And I'm thinking to myself, I have an endless fountain of cash that's called Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I got lucky when I was like 24, and now I never have to think about money ever again. Except the great part about money is the more you spend it, the more fun it becomes.
Ooh.
And so I'm thinking to myself, I gotta get more of that fucking money. And I think to myself, what's great about Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles is they're gross, but they're super fun. Everyone loves them. They're hanging out, they're eating pizza, they're punching people in the face, but they're human-sized turtles. If you saw one in real life, you'd throw up your guts on the street. And so I'm thinking to myself, how do I get that same feel? And I'm thinking to myself, what's gross? Mummies. Mummies are disgusting. They're desiccated old people that are inside a box for 2,000 years. But guess what? Now they got curves. They got urges. Oh. Boom! Sexy mummies. Self-published it in my Tundra Comics label. Sexy Mummies, #1, written by me, Kevin Eastman, drawn by, I don't fucking know. Tanked.
Yeah.
Maybe only 1,000 issues sold, which, considering, is not that bad. Sexy Mummies 2, written by me, drawn by, again, not 100% sure, also tanked. But Sexy Mummies 3, not written by me. I got tired of it at that point. Somebody else wrote it. Huge smash! Yeah. 22,000 copies, a moderate success in the early 90s. It was a very different comics industry in the early 90s. You gotta understand, X-Men selling 500,000 copies a week doesn't make any sense now. I got an update about the comics industry now, just after I stepped out of the portal. I've been told I'm in for a real rude awakening in the coming years. Anyway, I thought Sexy Mummies, they're gross, but they're sexy. They're doing mummy stuff, they're doing sex stuff. Also, I realized a lot of people know me from Ninja Turtles, largely thought of as a kid's comic. Sexy Mummies. Not for kids.
Those that didn't.
Not for teens.
Many people didn't.
Really not for adults.
Yeah.
It was for hardcore pervs only.
Yeah.
Only.
So much of the Ninja Turtles comic is bizarre and nonsense and weird.
Oh yeah,
many people had no idea.
Yeah. I thought to myself, what's gross? I had that.
Yeah.
And then I was like, oh shit, I need a like a plot. You know how comics have plots sometimes?
Yeah.
And then there was a Daredevil comic next to me. I grabbed it. I said, this'll work. Put that in with the gross turtles. Didn't do that for Sexy Mummies. Might have been a problem. Just that I can wing this one. Couldn't do it. I thought it could just be their sexy freewheeling adventures. Mummies do not freewheel well, guys. The dialogue was very stilted. They were 2,000 years. None of it made any sense. I read it now and I think, who wrote this? And then I look and it's me. It's me, Kevin Eastman. Oh boy.
Kevin, while I have you, right?
Yeah, please.
Now, if you could have, as you said, Ninja Turtles was a parody of Daredevil.
Yeah. Well, parody is a strong word for it. I would say, like, outright copy.
It's a copy-paste. The hand becomes the Foot Clan.
Yeah.
Yeah,
you figured it out.
Yeah.
This guy's got it going on.
I've had help over the years.
Okay, all right.
But what comic do you wish you had just stolen the plot of to put into Sexy Mummies?
Oh my God, Pat. So, you ever read a comic called Captain Carrot and the Zoo Crew?
No.
Really? No?
Not. No.
Okay, it's a DC kids comic.
Okay.
It's about a very powerful rabbit. That's Captain Carrot. He's got a zoo crew. He's got a fast turtle. That's fun. He's got a poodle that fights. There's like a tough pig. I'm thinking to myself, that's all gross. Those could easily be mummies. I'm thinking to myself, now they're a crew. I should call it Sexy Mummies Crew. And people would have been like, oh, it's a team book. They would have bought it. I would have sold 900,000 copies per ish.
Whoa.
Not overall.
in 1991?
I mean, that's like average in 1990. You gotta understand, there was a very different comics industry 26 years ago from which I just came.
Well, thank you so much for traveling in time. This is the first time it's ever happened at these shows.
It's my pleasure.
Please, everyone, give it up for Kevin Eastman. We'll see Kevin a little later in the show. For the lightning round, hear about the comics he made with other people. And right now, we're going to keep this show moving. We've got some more awesome comic creators. Please welcome to the stage, Abby Russell and Tom Sanchez. Oh, I'm so happy to have you here tonight.
Thank you. We're happy to be here.
Thank you so much
for having us.
I would love to have you all talk about your comic title, Cool Lady and a Dinosaur.
Well, we've always been interested in romance comics. It's been a big passion of ours. We wanted to write our own.
And I think this goes without saying, but it's autobiographical in many senses.
It is true.
Abby's nickname for me is Cool Lady.
And Tom here has fucked so many dinosaurs. It's insane. His first love was a dinosaur. And you know how they say your first love, it really is like, it's like it sets the fetish. I don't even know how to put it any other way. Like it sets the groundwork for sex for the rest of your life. You know what I mean? Tom knows what I mean.
Oh, I do. I want to clarify what Abby means when she says I fucked a dinosaur. We all know dinosaurs aren't real.
Well.
I am banned from many museums because I fucked the fossils.
From what I've heard, because I was in the museum next to it watching, making sure guards weren't coming in, it sounded quite dry. But I don't know that's how you like it.
It's the only way.
But
just so you know, in reading the book, I got none of that. It felt like just a real, honest-to-God romance story between a cool lady and a dinosaur.
Right. I mean, we wanted to put Tom's dream to reality, and by reality I mean a series of comic books, because, you know, like Tom said, he was fucking dead dinosaurs.
And the only thing that could make that better were if they were alive.
And we also wanted a broad audience, because it's important for us to let kids know it's okay to love who you love, to accept yourself for who you are, and for whoever you want to fuck. So we wanted to make it a little more accessible, which is why we took out some of the more graphic sexual aspects of my cool lady here.
I fought hard against those changes.
I know. I'd like to think they are still metaphorical in the book. You know, read between the lines of it.
Right.
Hold it under a black light.
The cool lady enters a lot of canyons. And there's a lot of volcanoes exploding.
Yes, there are.
And for no reason, trains going into tunnels.
Yes. I'd say about every fourth panel is just that. Train chugging on through.
We also felt it very important to have a strong female protagonist.
Yes, absolutely.
And we were trying to think of a name. And honestly, there's no name cooler than just Cool Lady.
Agreed. I mean,
it's all in the name.
Yeah, I think she's the coolest and the strongest and honestly the most beautiful.
And a lot has been said about my contribution to this comic, but I think Abby really, she did a lot of work, and a lot of the sales are in large part due to her contribution. You know, she translated it into Latvian, which is 80% of our sales.
Yes, we have a very big Latvian audience, and thankfully I studied abroad in Latvia.
Abby, will you tell the audience the translation?
Yes. Thikurn, dinosaurn, endurn, trainur.
There's no word for lady in Latin. So we just said, not man.
Yes. Chill, not man, I think is the direct translation.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. I think, and this is just speaking for me, we have always envisioned a long run for this,
yes, absolutely.
this series. We're currently at issue 15.
But you know, we plan for it to be like a Walking Dead type of series, you know? Hopefully we'll get like an AMC, A&E pickup. I don't know the channel Walking Dead is on.
AMC, but
Okay.
I'm hoping for this getting picked up at A&E.
Ooh, that's like the history one.
Arts and entertainment. They do a
Okay.
lot of biography.
I don't have cable.
But now in the modern reality.
All right, well, this was a conversation you probably can have backstage. I want to thank you both so much for joining us tonight. I want to just let you know, as a fan, I never saw any of the symbolism for sex, and I can't wait to read the book with that knowledge.
Great. It's in
forward
there.
to it.
Yeah, thank you so much. We'll see you later in the lightning round. We'll give it one more time for Abby and Tom. Oh. Man, you learn so much about books when you finally get a chance to talk to the creators. I just thought it was about a dinosaur and a cool lady that liked each other. I had no idea there was so much more to it. All right, we're going to keep this train a-moving. Please welcome to the stage, Claire Friedman. Claire is a fantastic artist and writer. And we're very excited. Claire, are you okay?
Doing great, Pat.
Great, sounds good. Claire, I can't wait to hear everything about Definitely Not the X-Men, the book series that you wrote and drew.
Yes. The year, 1989. The day, November 9th. The Berlin Wall comes down. And I think to myself, who could have done this? Mutants? No. Humans. Fast forward. September 11th, 2001. Who could have done this? Mutants? No. Again, it's humans. Fast forward, December 2016. I have a book proposal due. And what am I gonna do? Am I gonna do X-Men? No way! I'm gonna do definitely not the X-Men. I'm gonna put out a fucking book that will blow your minds for its lack of blue skin and transformative abilities. I'm gonna put out a fucking book with so many brunettes. The next time you see a redhead, you'll go, whoa! That's not supposed to happen. Look, I'm proud of this book and of any ensuing lawsuits that are coming in because of it, because you know what? I mean it. This is definitely not the X-Men. This is definitely not the X-Men. They don't fight crime. They don't help people. They just live. They just live. And sure, all the characters have the same names, but let me ask you something. What if Jean Grey just continued to grow up in the suburbs? Huh? What if Logan died?
Your book
Let
starts.
me tell you what they wouldn't be if that happened. There wouldn't be X-Men.
Your book starts with the character Logan dying,
Yes!
just to make sure that the audience is
December
aware.
9th, 1945! December 7th was Pearl Harbor. He died on the 9th.
Unrelated?
Unrelated completely. He thought he was going to be drafted and surprise! Car accident. No Drucker.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's incredible.
Thank you. You know, I really shouldn't have done this show given the lawsuits. Probably should have named it something else too. That's what my lawyer tells me, but whoever wanted to listen to a lawyer, am I right, ladies?
Now, I will say that a lot of your sales were because your title sounds like a porn parody. Definitely not the X-Men. It sounds
What
like
part of that? is a pun.
Most of porn parodies of popular franchises just say like not the.
Oh.
They're not clever.
The ones I watch are mostly puns on the word butthole.
Okay.
like pothole. That one was about golf.
Oh.
But it was golf into a butt. You see how it...
That sounds great.
Yeah, you get there, and it works out pretty well.
Claire, you've obviously mentioned the impending lawsuits that are coming in from your book.
Butthole, that one was about a young horse. Go on.
Okay. No, great.
Yeah.
Do you have any final thoughts on the book that has been pulled off store shelves and is not available digitally right now? Only pirates can read it.
Look, I'm going to be on 8th Avenue a little bit later, and I'll tell you what, I set up one of those tables. I have a lot of scarves on it, but you come up to me, you give me a wink, I'm going to pull those scarves off. I'm going to show you all the copies of my book I have to sell. I'm going to tell you something, it's the greatest fucking book you'll never read. So meet me up 8th Avenue, 27th. I'm going to see how long I can stay there before they kick me out for not having a permit. I thought about getting one, but boy howdy, I am not going to listen to my fucking lawyer.
I totally understand. Give it up one more time for Claire Friedman. Thank you, Claire. We'll see you in the lightning round. Wow, yeah. Sometimes books sell, sometimes they don't, sometimes they're just blatant rip-offs. We're going to chat next, another fantastic comic writer. Please welcome to the stage, Michael Hartney. Michael, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, Patrick. And thank you, lovers of visions.
Mr. Hartney, we're thrilled beyond belief to be able to chat about Nice Alien.
Nice Alien. Wow. As if there was another title that would come up there when you talk about me as a creator. As you know, I did not create Nice Alien. I inherited Nice Alien. Nice Alien debuted in 1943, the product of two youths embracing all of the ideals of World War II era America, which I find so dreadfully boring. So when I inherited the title, I thought, well, what do I do with it? Certainly it's not going to be the fire engine red Boy Scout that we've come to know. We can all sing the Saturday morning cartoon theme, right? All together, everyone. Nice alien, saves everybody as quick as he can. Not clever, but, you know, it was the 60s. So when I began writing and drawing the title in 1986 in a way that transformed fiction, you know, I thought, well, Nice Alien, he's always been this very, you know, lantern-jawed do-gooder. Why don't I bring him back to his essence? So I made him a, you know, androgynous, heroin-addicted sex worker with a club foot.
To rave reviews.
To rave reviews. Newsweek. Bam Pow, of course.
Oh, yeah.
Gave it raves. You know, the barley issue. The issue that has none of the existing characters and is just the life of a barley plant. I think it changed a lot of minds. That storyline where I take over, I the writer, Michael Hartney take over as Nice Alien, and it's just sort of about my life as a comic book artist, interspersed with just long, imageless text pages about the formation of crystals. I think you all know what I was getting at. I certainly do.
Now, Michael, you only wrote on Nice Alien for a year.
That's right.
But many say that you're the only person to ever really understand the character.
Thank you so much, Patrick. You know, I think it's due to my unconventional upbringing in the suburbs of Buffalo, New York. It just, you know, I brought that hard, scrabble, blue-collar mentality to the proceedings.
Yeah, I think that I rarely have an opportunity to talk to someone with your vision, so I guess I'll just end with, do you ever wonder what if you had continued to write and draw Nice Alien?
It would actually stop being printed on like traditional newsprint, and each panel would have to be found on the body of a runaway's tattoo.
Oh, wow.
So you'd have to find each runaway in order for the story to make even a lick of sense, and frankly, I think it would be worth it.
I mean, the message boards would love it. They love a good scavenger hunt.
Oh, Joan, I know it, Patrick.
I don't like that. I don't like whatever this is happening right now. I'm not a fan. I'm so thrilled to meet you, but oh no, what is this? Please, a round of applause for Mr. Michael Hartney.
Thank you, dreamers.
We'll see you for the lightning round. The works that you made with other people are astounding. So we began the show. We'll break for just a brief moment and say, "Hey, Mike, are you here?"
Yeah.
Cool. Great. I'm pleased to announce the last. We'll be moving on to lightning round shortly, but right now we're going to chat with a great comic creator by the name of Mike Drucker. Mike. Thank you so much for joining us.
Oh, thank you, and thank everybody for waiting 3 hours at Comic-Con to see this show. Thank you.
Yes, thank you so much for waiting.
Thank you.
And for sitting through so many other panels that you did not care about and wanted to watch this one. Mike, let's cut to the chase. We want to hear about Dude Patrol.
Dude Patrol, all right. So, what's the one thing everybody wants to be? A dude and a cop. Right? Are you already sold? Well, that's how I came up with Dude Patrol. You see, there's a lot of cops in my family. I grew up in upstate Boston, and it was a wonderful community filled with Irish gentlemen who knew the law, unlike other cities that aren't upstate Boston. So I thought, you know what, I'm going to bring that experience of my family, of dudes. My family is all dudes. There are no women in my family. There has never been a woman in my family. There will never be a woman in my family, and there will never be a firefighter in my family because it's the Dude Patrol. Okay? So I made an autobiographical comic about everyone in my family but me because I'm not a cop and it's very sad. And so, I know, and that's part of the story. Part of the story is about a young man who is a dude but cannot join the patrol. So is he only half a dude? Maybe. Maybe. Right now we're on issue 475. Right now I'm just in the comic book creating Dude Patrol. I know that you all have copies. I will be signing after the show at a cost of $475 a piece in honor of our latest anniversary comic book. There's also a crossover with Girl Medics.
I mean, Girl Medics is one of my favorite books, and when I heard that they were going to crossover with Dude Patrol, I was like, I don't think that will work at all. I was very critical, and I apologize for not having faith in you.
Thank you. A lot of people on Twitter and Instagram also felt that way. And we are happy to announce that the Dude Patrol Girl Medics crossover is now becoming a movie series on IFC.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, they're pivoting from comedy to not comedy. They were like, comedy is done. We want some dramatic dudes who are cops, women who are medics, but they can never be together because both of their families are exclusively one gender. Yeah, please.
Mike, obviously, the book is so autobiographical.
Oh, thank you so much.
You're putting all of yourself into the stories. Do you ever feel like because you're actually writing the book, you're not living an actual life that you can then put in the book?
Thank you so much for asking that. Here's how I feel about that. I feel sometimes that by writing and drawing dudes on patrol, I myself am a dude on patrol. I feel like I'm emulating their lives. I'm bringing their stories. We don't tell enough cop stories as a society. Are there any police shows on television? I have not seen a one. But now, I'm also proud to announce we are doing non-gender binary firefighters.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that's right, that's right. A third comic series from a new creator, Pat Johnson's team.
Okay, because I was worried for a second there that you were going to write about firefighters.
I don't have the experience of being non-binary, and I don't have the experience of being a firefighter in a family. I also don't have an experience of being a cop, but I've lived with cops enough. Irish cops, good cops. Cops that care about their community in upstate Boston.
I mean, wow, this is like a huge, I'm so glad we had this amazing announcement in our show.
Of course.
I can't wait to read about non-binary firefighters.
Thank you very much. They're heroes.
Yeah, no, certainly.
First responders.
Mike, we've got a precious little time left. To the folks that say that you could have become a cop and you chose not to become a patrolman, what do you say to them?
Fuck you! How dare you! I tried for 5 years to become a cop, rejected every time! So don't you fucking think that I didn't put in the effort, because I put it every day! I'm sorry, Patrick.
No, I'm the one that asked the question.
No, it's fine.
And I got the heated, honest, earnest response that I wanted.
It's totally my fault.
Mike, if you wouldn't mind taking a seat over there in that row there, give it up for Mike Drucker, please. And now let's bring out you got to sit right over there. We're going to hit the lightning round, so let's see if we can get all our other amazing comic creators to sit over there. So how this segment works is all of these creators, along with myself, I'm the host of the show, but I also have made a lot of comic books with some of these creators tonight, and we're going to quickly give you the highs and lows of a bunch of them. So let's, Allie, why don't you come up? We'll talk about our first book. Let's talk about another Batman comic.
Wow, thank you so much. I'm so glad that you brought up another Batman comic.
Yeah.
Because this was a real highlight of my career, because despite it being universally panned by critics.
And basically, we gave them the ammunition to call it just another Batman comic.
Because we were just like, it was just like everything he'd ever done before in any other comic.
Yeah.
Just like, with like the horniness turned up like a lot.
A lot.
And so the Webby Awards said that it was basically porn, and that they shouldn't have been allowed on shelves for anybody.
I mean, Warner Brothers let us put it out. I don't know what the fuck. Like, there's so many Bat books. Nobody would have noticed if people had just been fucking cool about it.
I think that the thing with Warner Brothers right now is that their ego is sort of like low, and so if you just come in and just like sort of say anything and are like, you look good today, those glasses, they'll like just let you do anything. Like, oh my god, so thank you for noticing.
Yeah, if anybody wants to pitch the WB, like, now's the time to do it.
Just do it. They honestly just like be like, isn't that a new haircut? And they know you've never met before, but the fact that you think they have a new haircut, they'll be like, please take my money. Thank you for paying attention to me.
At the end of the day, it was pretty good. And like, there's so many Bat books that like, not all of them have to be winners.
No.
Whatever. Allie, thanks so much. I had so much fun doing that.
Yeah.
Thank you, Allie. All right, let's do Tom and Adrian. Why don't you come up here and talk about your book, Whips! Exclamation point.
This is a fucked up comic.
It's real dark, it's real dirty.
Real dark, real dirty. It's fucked up. You know what? I brought it up. I said, you know what? We don't talk a lot about whips. It's a big part of the history of the United States that we try to neglect, we try to ignore. Let's bring it to the forefront.
And I was so ignorant at the time that I think the first version was just pretty much a recreation of our first meeting at a Starbucks.
And boy, it got hot and heated. He got a venti latte, I got an espresso. Oh my God, we looked into each other's eyes and I said, are you as turned on as I am? And I said, yes.
Okay, guys. All right, thank you so much. Adrian and Tom, thank you so much for talking about whips. I mean, well, I dropped the microphone. That's not cool. I should have seen this coming. Maybe should have skipped that book. Great. Thank you so much, both of you. Wow. Let's switch gears and let's have Mike and Michael come up, please, if you wouldn't mind coming to talk about, very briefly, let's talk about your book, Death Skull, The Redeemer.
I mean, this is a real paycheck job for both of us, I think it's fair to say.
Death Skull had been a successful HBO series for over 27 years.
What's funny about Mike is I wanted to get a real, intricate Travis Charest vibe on the art. So I insisted that the only ink he used would be the ground up
Monkey bones from the San Diego Zoo.
That I made him
grind up myself.
Yes.
You can see it on the page.
I had to grind up the monkey bone. I had to kill the monkeys at the San Diego Zoo without permission.
But luckily, he's got a lot of cops in his family.
A lot of cops.
If there were any legal tussles, he just makes one call to upstate Boston.
Yep.
And shit is on.
It's disappeared.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate hearing about it. Let's have Abby and Claire. Well, please talk about your joint title, Friendship Squad.
Great.
Such a good series.
Yeah, we started the series as BFFs, and we ended the series as frenemies.
We did.
Oh, wow.
That had a lot to do with her taking my husband Stephen away from me.
I mean, can you take the willing?
You would know.
I would, and you cannot. He was into it, and he said I'm much better. Let's just say I got more holes.
Wow.
Just because you got shot that time doesn't make you more of a woman. That's all I have to say. And just because I got sewn up a couple of times doesn't make me less of a wife.
Your relationship is not reading. The book is beautiful.
Yes, Stacy and Betty truly have something special.
They are such a friendship squad.
Yeah.
I had no idea that you had such personal animosity.
We do not speak anymore.
Oh, wow. Okay. Well,
I did not know she would be here.
Oh, okay. Well, I apologize.
I did know, and I wanted to rub it in.
Okay. Well, thank you. Thank you both so much. Mr. Eastman, you and I worked on a title very briefly. Let's talk about Scrubs, The Few Further Adventures.
Scrubs, The Further Adventures.
It left so many unanswered questions.
Yeah, what was really confusing for me, so this is the comic book adventures of a popular sitcom that I've never seen because I'm from 1991.
I traveled back in time, met Mr. Eastman,
Told me about the show Scrubs.
Yeah, I did a pretty bad job describing it.
I think you did a pretty good job.
I didn't know all the characters' names.
I think we got most of them right.
Yeah.
There's JD.
Yep.
There's other guy.
Yeah.
There's
we nailed the guy that works there.
Bingo.
Yep. We nailed it.
Yeah. And so I guess fans of Scrubs said, this sucks.
Yeah. They miss Scrubs very much and were real pissed off at us.
They were excited about the prospect of a comic book adventure, their favorite characters, and we did not give them that.
I mean, people like sci-fi shows get like Buffy and Angel. They get comic book adaptations.
Don't know either of these shows, but here they are.
Oh, you're gonna like Buffy and love Angel.
Probably. That sounds right.
That's a deep cut for a few out there. Anyway, Mr. Eastman, I honestly I just wanted to work on on a project, and that's all I could think of at the time. I owned the license to Scrubs, and it was just like, let's do this.
From what I'm told, license to Scrubs, extremely easy to get.
Yeah.
Nobody interested in it.
Not for a comic book, at least.
Yeah, basically just out on the table. It's yours for the asking.
I will say this, non-Scrub fans seem to kind of like it.
Yeah, I have a lot of non-Scrubs saying, hey, this didn't suck.
Yeah.
But they were drowned out by the voices of literally thousands of Scrubs being fans saying,
And then a couple of them were drowned.
Yeah, and then you did drown a couple Scrubs.
Yeah. Oh, Mr. Eastman, thank you so much.
Yeah, no, my pleasure.
Thank you for coming. All right, we got another one. Let's have Abby and Mike. Why don't you come up and talk about the book you did together, lesbian graphic novel.
So, this was tough for me because I have no women in my family.
And this was easy for me, because I'm a lesbian.
Ah, a medic, no less.
I'm sorry?
From a family of medics.
Yes, yes.
Girl medics.
Yes, it's true.
Coming back.
There are a lot of lesbians in the medical world, and
That's
we really
true.
wanted to document that
That's
in
true.
our graphic novel.
Lesbian graphic novel, which is soon going to be a movie called Lesbian Graphic Novel the Movie.
Yes.
Being adopted by Konami as Lesbian Graphic Novel the Movie the video game.
Yes. It was important for us to keep graphic in the title, because it is a graphic novel.
So we didn't want to lose sight of that. We didn't want someone to see it and say, lesbian, no one wants to see that. So we added graphic novel because that's the word in lesbian graphic novel that people get excited about.
It is very tasteful.
Very tasteful.
There's a lot of love in it.
A lot of pussies.
You made me write in a lot of cops.
Yeah, of
and
course.
I said, yes, and
Male
let's
cops.
do it.
From upstate Boston.
Yes.
Yeah.
Wow, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Yeah, it's a great book. Let's have Michael and Claire please come in and talk about your joint efforts. Scrum.
Oh shit.
What a project, am I right, Michael?
You know, just about the plight of the first rugby team
First
ever.
rugby team that ever existed. The thing that you don't know, half the team was a bear.
What?
Half of the team, Pat,
What?
was one bear.
What?
Half the
right.
team was one bear. Normally a rugby team has what, 9 people in the original incarnation?
Absolutely. And this
Four
one had
of them.
4.5 people
And
one bear. We won't explain it further, Pat.
It's spoilers, you have to just read it, but it was such a beautiful project to get to work
It
on
was
with Michael.
gorgeous.
It was.
Neither of us knew much about it.
Hardly a thing. Honestly, we opened up Wikipedia, read the thing about the bear, and said, you know what, we're in.
Yeah, we did very little research. It was mostly us exploring the space through movement.
And let me tell you something else. A lot of the story came to us on an ayahuasca journey we went on together in the Sequoia Forest.
So much inspiration, so much vomit.
A lot of inspiration about bears.
Bear.
Bear. All right, fine. All right, okay. Thanks so much.
Yes, thank you.
Okay. Tom and Allie, let's hear from you about your book, Bike Rides Where I'm Not Particularly Excited.
Yes, not every bike ride can be a winner. We all know this.
Just today, for example, I rode a bike across town, and it was fine.
Exactly. Sometimes it's just taking you places and you don't learn anything. And that's why it was such a big hit, because sometimes the mundanity of life makes people feel less alone, you know?
I think of this as like a still life.
Yes.
It's like a still life in book form.
Which is why you can flip so many pages and it's the exact same panels on about 50 consecutive pages. And then the very last one is a green light turning green. So proceed. And isn't that a metaphor itself, Pat?
I mean, I assume it is.
It is.
If it isn't a metaphor, that book is a waste of time. So I really hope that it's a metaphor.
It's a very rich texture.
Okay. Because otherwise, it's just photocopies of one page.
See, now that's exactly what somebody who doesn't get art says.
Shit.
So don't
No, I get art. I get art. I know.
Exactly. Wasn't it amazing, Pat?
It was. It was really good. Thank you so much. Adrian and 1991 Kevin Eastman, let's hear about your talk. Baby Commando Fresh Justice. Such a great book.
Baby Commando Fresh Justice. Now there's a title I'm fucking excited to talk about.
Oh man, they're not just commandos, they're fucking babies.
The babies. And the best part about a baby commando, you never fucking see that baby
Don't
coming.
see them coming, they're crawling
So
along.
fucking small.
So tiny.
So tiny.
They're so tiny, then bam, 9mm to your fucking...
Bam! You're dead. You're fucking
dead!
Whoa. And then even if you do see the baby, you think, oh my God, did someone leave a baby out
Leave a
here?
baby out here? I find
We should
babies all the
call
time.
someone. This
Who
is
should I
terrible.
call?
This is, oh,
babies just like...
bam! Boom! Fucking dead!
In your eye!
Whipped out a combat knife. He's separated your jaw.
Right down the middle, just like a hammerhead shark.
Terrible. Terrible. Not a popular comic book, but man, what a good one.
They would drive around. They would drive around in the baby wagon.
They had like a Power Wheels Jeep that they were driving around.
Getting full charge.
I'm still mad that it wasn't a hit.
I'm real bummed.
Well, sometimes you gotta do one for yourself, you know?
That was the
one. That was the one for us. They would get rattles and say, "Goo goo gaga, motherfucker,"
And then they fucking throw it as a grenade. Boom! Kill 20 people.
Sure. Thank you so much.
Yeah, well,
Let's have Tom and Mike. Please come up and chat about your book, Abbott and Costello Meet the Batman, Crisis of Infinite Bases.
I think this speaks for itself.
This speaks for itself.
You know,
What is, we wanted what every consumer wants in one title.
old school duo comedians.
Abbott and Costello.
Abbott and, Batman.
Batman, they meet him.
And Infinite Bases, which is the name of my Europop band.
Popular band in all of Europe.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah.
I'm real big in Latvia.
Latvia. So they meet Batman, Abbott and Costello meet Batman. They actually meet him, they're actually having brunch at the same restaurant. They go, "Hey, are you Batman?" And he goes, "Yeah." And then they meet.
And then there's a whole who's on first thing with
Right.
Batman this time.
Right.
And it goes poorly because he just kills them.
Yeah.
Whoa,
Batman
wait.
kills in this comic. He breaks his rule for Abbott and Costello.
Shit.
Yeah.
I mean, that routine does not age well.
No. They're like,
Who's on first?
Batman.
Who is?
Batman's on first. And he's like, "Okay." And that's the whole routine.
And then it's sponsored by my Europop band.
Infinite Bases.
All right, thanks so much. I gotta check that song out. Let's have Allie and Claire. Why don't you come up and talk about, whoa, so many guys, stop crime.
This was in our punctuation experimental phase.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Because everything's a question, is it not?
When you're a woman
Isn't it
and
a question?
upspeak becomes part of your habit.
So we were trying to break out of that and make a statement. I think we tried to make a few too many statements.
We made a lot of statements.
A lot
For
of
example, we put
statements.
guys in the title.
Right, exactly. And then the entire book, people were flipping through, saying, "Well, the title said, whoa, so many guys, and there are no guys in this title."
There's
And
not a
once
single
again,
guy, and we say all the women are named Guy.
And that's a statement?
That's a French name?
Exactly. If you take a lot of bold swings and you do it boldly enough, people won't question
And
you.
that's why no one cries in baseball.
Oh, exactly. Because, if somebody, like, for example, Pat, if you were to be like, "Hey, I just read this comic and it says, whoa, so many guys, stop crying. Why is there a question? Why are there so many, why are there no guys?"
It pushes the thought.
Exactly, and I'd be like, "I'm sorry, are you trying to understand the woman's experience?"
Are you trying to understand the emotional turmoil that a woman can experience?
And then nobody will ask you any more questions.
We are one of 3 writers in the comics industry who identify as women, all 3 of which are here.
Exactly, they're all here tonight.
Every single one of us.
Yeah, I invited all 3 and y'all said yes. I was really psyched.
We get invited to things very rarely.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for talking about
Thank
your
you.
book.
Very proud.
I'll admit, I didn't get it. Abby, why don't you come up? We're going to chat about the book that we did. My best friend is a rickshaw.
Well, I will say from the start, I wanted to be my best friend as a horse.
And I said, there's so many books about horses.
I know.
There are, but there are no books about rickshaws, and it made me sad.
No, that's fair.
I just thought about it, like I was like, you know, you could put a bike in front of it, but if you're using all manpower, and what if that was what if your rickshaw was your best friend?
Well, also, what I really liked about this was imagining it as a rickshaw. I got to imagine myself as a horse.
Yes.
Which was very fun for me. It's fun, you know, when I like to write. I like to get in the head of my characters. And I was best friends with a rickshaw, and I was a horse. And that is how I got...
And there's no horse in the book. I have to be very clear about that. We ended up cutting the horse from the book, because we thought it made more sense if the person was like a human.
Right.
It was the main character and not a horse.
But I know deep inside they're a horse. Like their persona is absolutely a horse.
Oh, yeah. That's the subtext of it.
Yeah.
Certainly.
And the rickshaw's persona is a rhino. That's just a fun fact.
Fun fact for you. Thank you so much, Abby. So we got Villains, and Villains was written by Mr. Eastman along with Mike Drucker.
Oh man. Villains.
Villains!
We all love them. We all love to hate them.
I am a selfish man sexually.
And that's one of the villains that we profile.
Sexuality.
In Villains. Sexuality. All the villains are very abstract, is what you need to understand about villains.
Selfishness.
Uh-huh.
A lack of empathy for others.
Exactly.
Gun violence.
What was that one?
Gun violence.
Gun violence. That one was like a little on the nose.
A little on the nose.
But
Shouldn't have even brought it up.
Shouldn't have brought it up, but
should not have mentioned it one
but
bit.
it belongs in Villains,
It
and that's
belongs
why
in Villains.
That's why it was there. That's why it was there.
This book is sold exclusively in libraries.
That's right.
Yeah, you can't take it out of the library, you have to buy it there.
It was a problem for a lot of libraries because they're like, we don't exchange.
We don't do that.
We don't sell things.
We don't sell things. You have to take it out. We say
take
no.
it out. And we said,
no.
Libraries, stop arguing with us. You're selling our book, Villains.
You're selling villains. Lending is a villain in the book.
Lending is a villain. It's a very... We have to make a really hard case for why Lending is a villain, but I think we do a pretty good job.
Pretty good job. It stresses friendships.
All right, thank you so much.
It's right up there with gun violence.
Adrian and Michael, why don't you come talk about Kawaii Motorcycle Club? Kawaii.
That's exactly how it should be pronounced. Thank you, Patrick. Kawaii Motorcycle Club. Kawaii. Basically, it was the second wave of image titles. It was the second wave of image titles.
Hello.
It was a different time then.
What's up right now?
Patrick, I insist that all of my books, the genesis of them is exploring the space through movement.
Space
through movement. It was kawaii.
Okay. All right. Oh no. All right. We loved.
It was kawaii. Number one of this issue. It came out during the big image boom, so like right in between Shaman's Tears and Trencher.
Yeah.
You guys familiar with that work? You guys aren't familiar with Trencher Head? Any Trencher Heads on this side?
I mean, me and Mr. Eastman, certainly.
Trencher!
You Trencher Head?
Big Trencher.
Alright. You guys are my...
First issue bagged and boarded, baby.
Did you get the gold stamp foil cover of Tribe #1?
Couldn't get it, sold out.
There. Basically, it's the entire island of Kauai is a motorcycle. The entire island had 2 wheels and a 4-gear shaft.
No, I got that part. That
It's
part.
sort of like 150 cc's. It's like Turbo Teen.
Yeah.
But instead of a boy becoming a car, an island becomes a 70,000 motorcycles. 70,000. That's an entire population of a small city.
It's the #1 bestseller. Thank you so much.
Thank you for
joining us.
enjoying this space.
Tom and let's do Tom and Allie. Tom and Allie, why don't you go up here and talk about Kid Sisyphus? We're running short on time. I picked too many comics for you to talk about.
Yeah, what if your room could never get clean?
Oh no.
And that's the premise of Kid Sisyphus. No matter how many stories you put away, that that room is always going to get you around. That's consistent.
Yeah, we just wanted kids to learn that punishment never ends.
Exactly. Please, kids these days, they're so entitled, they don't feel mortal fear. And that's what we're really trying to instill on a base level, early on. This is an early reader book.
Yeah.
It's like A, apple, B, boy, C, clean your fucking room for the rest of eternity, you little shit. And that's how they learn to read it.
It's a great book.
It's great, and it keeps kids quiet.
Yes, thank you so much. I think, yeah, with this last one, Mr. Drucker, why don't you come up here and we'll talk about
We Aren't Friends.
We came up with the idea for this book because we're not friends.
No. I was told I needed to write a book with someone,
right.
And I was like, well, it better not be someone I like.
No, and it's definitely gonna be someone I look exactly like.
Yeah, I need to look very similar to the person I'm doing this book with, so that when we go to places to talk about that book, people are like, are they related or not?
No.
What's happening?
Are they a before and after photo and we can't tell who's before and who's after?
Yeah. Who's doing better? Nobody knows. Nobody knows.
They're not friends.
We want a book where someone goes, no, I met you before. And you go, no, you met the person I wrote We Aren't Friends with.
And I'm insulted because I'm not his friend.
Yeah. Don't talk to me about that guy. Let's talk about the many friends I have who are not him.
And then I go, do you really think I look like him?
That seems so weird. Why do people keep getting us confused?
Because we're not friends, so we don't hang out, so they only see us apart.
If we were friends and we did hang out, it would be even weirder.
Right. They'd be like, are they twins? No, just friends. I don't like that they're hanging out. That's what people would say.
One of them should put a hat on right now. I don't know. I don't know which one. Right. One of them. All right, Mike, thank you so much for writing that book with me. I'm going to finish up over here. There's no reason to go over there. This was the end of our show, so this was the Improvised Postmortem. We'll do this again when there's another time that postmortems make sense for me to submit it as a show. If you're going to your Comic-Con, don't go on Saturday. It's fucking busy as hell. Thank you all so much for joining us. Have a great evening. Good night.